Good morning, everyone. This is Ted Murmagos, Child Support Director here in the state of Delaware. And this is the February Child Support Connection. And I really appreciate folks who attempted to tune in last week. I had a conflict, and I've had to move these for the last couple months, and probably going to have to do it for the next 2 or 3 moving forward. To the second Monday of every month. But I am really happy to be here and being able to speak with all of you about child support activities in the state of Delaware and some of the things that we're doing. So let me jump right in. And first, if we say this, kind of get into a habit, I guess. But if you've tuned into our Child Support Connections in the past, I always like to start off by reading and mentioning our mission statement. The mission statement is extremely important to me as a child support employee, and I know that my employees here at Child Support also really do believe in the mission statement. So it's our mission at the Delaware Division of Child Support Services to deliver quality customer supports by partnering with parents to improve the lives of children and their families. This is achieved through obtaining accurate child support orders to meet the financial, medical, and emotional needs of children, and to promote family self-sufficiency. And what we want is the best outcomes for families. So, we're not afraid, here at Child Support to speak to non-custodial parents and talk to them about how to get an accurate child support order. And what we mean by an accurate child support order are orders that a non-custodial parent can, have implemented at their place of employment, and have child support come out of their paycheck, as well as them being able to survive and live and support themselves. So having an accurate child support order really is best for everybody. Child's needs are being met because the non-custodial parent believes, hey, this order is one that I can afford, as well as be able to afford to live on. And oftentimes court orders are created, and they go for years, and the non-custodial parent's place of employment has changed, or they have a financial circumstance that sets them back, and they're no longer making what they used to be making under that order, and they need to get into family court for a modification of the child support obligation. So, we want to make sure, obviously, that children are being taken care of, not only emotionally, but financially by both parents. And we certainly want both parents to be able to earn enough to live, as well as pay their responsibility, pay their child support orders. So, we work very closely with both parents to go ahead and do that. The other thing I need to mention, after I always talk about the mission statement, is that, and I hope we do get a lot of this, that there are, if you're going to put a comment in, or a question or a statement in the comment section, not only when we're doing these child support connections, but if you come to our Facebook page, please only put non-descriptive information in the comment section. We don't want to call people out. We don't want to expose individuals violating their confidentiality. So if folks are joining today, I'll mention it again. that they really just need to not put in personal information in the comment section. And then what I'm hoping to do, something a little bit different than what I've done in the past, I'm interested to see if I can have some engagement with individuals who join us today. And I'm going to ask, hopefully when we have a number of clients or non-custodial parents participating, I'm going to ask a question, and I'd like to see some of the responses to that question in the comment section to kind of have a dialogue. Although people who are tuning in have to type their responses in the comment section, I'd like to have kind of a dialogue to see kind of gauge what people are feeling about particular questions that I have. Wanted to talk a little bit today, as I often do, about ways that, I should do this. I should add this right at the beginning of these child support connections. I want to talk a little bit about how individuals can reach out to us at child support. And everybody knows, that as a state agency, we have a telephone number that people can call for help. Whether you're a custodial parent, a non-custodial parent, an employer that's maybe making deductions or got a wage withholding from us and doesn't know how to implement it, folks can call 302-577-7171, and they can reach out to the Child Support Office. That is a statewide number, obviously. And there has been some feedback that Google may still list all three of our telephone numbers. That's incorrect, and we need to find a way to make that correction. But the one phone number for all three counties here in the state of Delaware, and actually nationally, obviously, if they're calling us, the phone number is 302-577-7171. As you probably suspect, one of our biggest complaints here at Child Support is that people call and say that they are on hold for a long period of time. And I always say to folks, if you're on hold more than 25 minutes, I think you should hang up and call back, because our customer service unit here at Child Support, who takes these phone calls, they're pretty good about staying on top of call wait times. And if the call wait times go long, we add people to the telephone lines to get that call wait time down. So if you're on hold for more than 25 minutes, I would hang up and call back, you'll probably get to somebody more quicker. And then, if you don't like to be on, want to be on hold, you can go to this website, my.delaware.gov, my.delaware, DELAWARE.gov, and you can create a username and password, and then once you're logged in, you can then download the child support portal. I also call it the customer website, and you would then make a secondary username and password. And you would then, once you're logged into the child support customer portal, you will actually have access to your child support case electronically. You no longer need to call us or come in to get an account statement. You no longer need to come to us and tell us where you're working. You can submit that information electronically. You can actually speak to your child support specialist through the customer portal, the child support customer portal, through my.delaware.gov. It's really exciting, and people who use it like that website, and it's a better way for you to communicate with your child support specialist and actually get a response from them electronically. But you no longer have to wait on hold in order for somebody to take your call. If you're a new client, you want to be a client of ours, you can complete the child support application electronically at that my.delaware.gov. So I'm always trying to tell people, if you don't want to be on hold, download that app, that customer portal through the my.delaware.gov page. And soon, within the next 6 months, we may actually have our own app, our Delaware Child Support app, that individuals will have on their telephone devices. So we're really looking forward to implementing that new, an additional way for people to communicate with us. So strongly encouraging people who don't like to be on hold to go ahead and access the customer website. And then, one of the other things I forgot to mention about the customer website, you can actually get messages from us, reminders. Hey, you got a court hearing on such and such a date, or everything from court hearings till offices are closed due to weather. We send those messages out to everybody. So, who gives us authorization to do so. So, I'm always encouraging folks. The customer portal is the place to go if you need information about child support. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is, of course, you're always welcome to come to one of our 3 offices. We have one office in each of the counties. Here in where I am today in Newcastle County, we are located at 84A Christiana Road in Newcastle, Delaware, 19720. And the way I always like to describe how you could physically find us is we're about maybe 1/10 of a mile, maybe a little bit, maybe 2/10 of a mile from the corner of Route 273 and 13. So if you head west on 273, you'll see a large building, the Churchman's Corporate Center on the right. That's where we're located. In Kent County, we're at 905 South Governors Avenue. And I always describe that as about 1/4 of a mile south of Kent General Hospital on Governors Avenue, South Governors Avenue. And then in Sussex County, we are located at 20105 Office Circle, and that's at the Georgetown Professional Park. And then I always let people know we're right across the street from the Walmart in Georgetown in that office park. And like I said, you can always come into our offices. My suggestion is, try to get there before 3:30, 3:45, especially if you have a difficult child support case situation that you need assistance with. Give us the time to really focus on what your child support situation looks like. So that's how you can get a hold of us. There's multiple ways to get a hold of us. If you are a non-custodial parent, and we probably don't talk about this enough, but I certainly want to mention it. There are many ways for a non-custodial parent to make a child support payment. The way I look at it, and the way we look at it here at Child Support in Delaware, the more ways that an individual can make a child support payment, the better. And giving them alternate methods of paying, because not everybody has a credit card, and not everybody can get up here to Newcastle to make a payment in person. We have multiple ways, so I'm going to run through them really quickly. The first is by check or money order. And in every court order that the state of Delaware issues, the family court here in Delaware, our child support address is listed on every court order. And that's where individuals can make a child support payment. And I see a question. So as I always say during these child support connections, I will drop everything I'm doing to go and hit the questions. Those are the most important part of what we do here. So I see that there's a question from Ms. Rashid. Just wanted to say I came here last month and you guys helped me get a court date after months. I just had court last week. Thank you so much. Fantastic. That's what this is all about. I'm so glad that this worked out for you. And thank you for putting that comment in because it will stay now with this video as we post it online. And I'm really grateful that you were able to get that accomplished, and obviously that we were able to help you. So thank you for tuning back in. Really appreciate it. And that really does make me feel good that we were able to kind of resolve your issues. So thank you for that. Going back to how a non-custodial parent can make a payment. So as I mentioned, our address is on every court order. When someone makes a payment via check or money order, especially through the mail, it's so important that in the memo section they put their child support case number or their social security number and their name, so that we can make sure that the payment gets logged successfully to your child support cases. The second way is through orders of income withholding. Another thing that's mentioned in the family court orders is that in 99% of the time, that if someone has a court order and they're working, or when they do find employment, that an order of income withholding is going to be issued to their employer, and their employer will make a deduction to their paycheck for child support, and they will send that payment to us here at the Child Support Office. We receive about 76% of all child support payments here in Delaware through an order of income withholding. So, I do mention this a lot to my employees. Employers are so important to the child support system, and we couldn't do what we do without them. Kids couldn't receive the financial support that they're due without the employer community. The third way is through a website called iPay That's the letter I, P-A-Y online, O-N-L-I-N-E. This is an awesome website because somebody can go and make a one-time payment from a debit card, credit card, or a bank account. Or they can make a reoccurring payment from those same financial institutions. And there is a small fee, I believe, if somebody pays by a debit or credit card. But if they pay by a bank account, there are no fees associated with it. So I'm always encouraging folks to hit that website if they need to make a payment to our office. I see there's another question. This is from Mason JD. Hello, I have a question, please. My son's father has not paid child support since 2023 and lives in Texas. Let's see here. I have followed up with my caseworker, and they said they would follow up. As of last year, and I have still not have gotten any response. Any steps I should take? Okay, great question. So the first thing I wanted to mention is if you don't hear back from your worker within in this case, because Texas is involved, if you don't hear back from them within 48 to 72 hours, My suggestion is you circle back to us, because we can at least tell you, or they should be able to at least tell you, hey, I've communicated with the state of Texas. We have several ways that we can communicate with other child support agencies. Some take a little bit longer than others, depending on what the other level of communication the state, like the state of Texas, can receive from us. But they should be able to tell you within 48 to 72 hours, I sent a transmittal to the other state, and I'm waiting for them to respond to that transmittal. Or I've reached out to the caseworker that we had on file, and I had to leave them a telephone message. So I don't ever want people to like hang out there like for months on end wondering what's going on. Please always circle back to us. And I did mention earlier, if you're not if the only way that you have access to us is by telephone, I encourage you to go to the website my.delaware.gov. And if some of my folks are watching this video as I'm doing this, if they could put in this information in the website, in the chat section for other folks. If you go to my.delaware.gov, you can pull down our customer website and our customer portal, we also call it. And you can communicate with your worker electronically, so you don't have to wait on hold with our customer service unit. But if you go to my.delaware, spell out Delaware.gov, create a username and password, you'll be able to communicate with your worker electronically through, I refer to it as a quasi-email system. While I was talking, also, Mason, if you will send us a DM, a private, or a PM, a private message, and include your case number and your full name, one of my employees wants to look you up in our child support system to see what the status of your situation is. So if you send us a DM after this video, because this employee of mine doesn't have access to the DMs, I will get it to her. And we'll look it up and get someone to reach out to you directly. But please don't wait. Please don't wait. I understand sometimes life gets in the way, but don't wait this long to get an update. We should be able to give you an update, within, sometimes like the state of New York, the state of Texas, the state of California, these larger states, it becomes a little bit more complicated. But we should be, our employees should be being persistent with those other state agencies to get an update on the status of your case. So yeah, send us a message and we will be in contact with you. And thank you for writing. We appreciate it. And the other thing too, I'm going to go back to how people can make payments. But the other thing I want to mention to folks is, and maybe I do it too much, but if you know a non-custodial parent, a person who's been ordered to pay child support, and they have questions about child support, have them tune into these child support connections, because it's so important that we give them an opportunity to ask questions and help them kind of maneuver through the child support process also. So thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So going back to how a non-custodial parent can make a payment, we talked about check or money orders, mailing them to the address that's in the court order. We've talked about orders of income withholding and how employers can, they send those payments to us, deduct it right from the non-custodial parent's paycheck, send those payments to us, and we forward them out to custodial parents. I was talking about the website iPayOnline. It's a website where non-custodial parents, employers can also go to that website. I always joke around a little bit. Non-custodial parents, mothers, non-custodial parents, sisters, if somebody wants to make a payment on behalf of a non-custodial parent, they can go to that website and make a one-time payment from a bank account or a credit or debit card, or they can make a reoccurring payment. I want a payment to come out of my bank account on the 15th of every month. for this amount and have it sent to the child support office. So iPay Online is an awesome way for individuals to make child support payments. And then the fourth way is through TouchPay kiosks. And the TouchPay kiosks are located at the Division of Motor Vehicles in all 3 counties. And it's also located at probation and parole offices in all 3 counties. And that is the only place that an individual can make a payment by cash. So it takes cash and it takes cards. And at one time, there was a small convenience fee, I believe of 3% of the payment that the TouchPay kiosk would charge folks, but they no longer make those fees to the payment. So, but it is the only place that an individual can make a child support payment by cash, at those TouchPay kiosks. And then the newest way that we've put in place is through our telephone system. So if you call 577-7171, area code 302, and you hit option 1 and then option 3, then you would just follow the phone prompts to make a payment by telephone. And I've recently gotten information that it's been a huge success, people being able to call up and make a payment by telephone. So I'm always encouraging folks to use that. That too does have a small convenience fee, so people have to be aware of that when they're making the payment. And then over the next 3 to 6 months, we are going to be adding more ways to make payments. This slide that I go off of, so I don't forget the payments, it's going to get larger and larger because we're going to be adding 2 or 3 more ways for folks to make payments to our office. It's going to be incredible. So really happy to be able to offer that to non-custodial parents. Nobody should have an excuse that I don't know where or how to make a child support payment. So really just want to make sure that we're offering that to folks. And then just wanted to mention too a little bit about how folks can, custodial parents can receive child support payments. And this is real quick. We certainly send out payments still by check, but there's Delaware law that requires custodial parents or anybody that's receiving a payment from us to get either a U.S. bank issued Relia card, which is a Visa card that's used anywhere Visa is accepted, or to receive payments from us directly deposited into a bank account. So if individuals have the ability to get the card through us, we will help them get the card, but some people can't get a credit card. But if they are able to get a credit card or can get a bank account, we will help them get it set up, and then they would receive their payments electronically. But we still do issue checks, very few compared to what we were generating 10 or 15 years ago. But we understand that people are unable in some cases to get those credit cards or bank accounts. So we want to make sure that we are giving them the opportunity to still get their payments via check. But it's Delaware law that they are required to receive those checks. I was recently thinking that I really don't talk a lot about our various partners. We have hundreds of partners that we work with. To make sure that we are finding people, to make sure that we are getting genetic testing done in the cases where genetic testing needs to be done, that we are exchanging information with state and federal offices that will help us bring money into the child support office so we can share those funds with custodial parents. So I thought what I would do is take take a few minutes to talk about some of the relationships that we have here at the Child Support Office. And some are on a state level. Some are relationships with the federal government. And then some are relationships with private companies, private stakeholders. So I thought what I would do is over the next couple of months, take a few minutes and talk about 5 or 6 of them, and kind of spread it out over the next couple of months or so, so that people can kind of get a better idea of who we work with and some of the things they do for us as a child support agency. So obviously here in Delaware, we work very closely at the Child Support Office with our Department of Justice. And those are attorneys that work for the child support program. And they will, and I think I mentioned this before, they will attend any commissioner's hearing at the family court where a Delaware child support client has that hearing and needs to talk about and have court orders established for various things, not only child support payments, but helping to establish paternity and helping to make sure medical insurance is a part of the order where appropriate for the children. But we work closely. They are our legal counsel. They are our legal advisors. They not only help us with the establishment and enforcing of child support orders, but they also help us interpret state and federal law and help us either draft legislation that we want to advance in the Delaware General Assembly. But they are our legal guidance, and they are in the courtroom when a case doesn't get resolved at mediation and has to go before a commissioner's hearing. The next important stakeholder, one of the most important stakeholders we have at child support, is the family court. Now, we are litigants. The child support program is a litigant of the family court. So when we generate a petition and send it over to the Department of Justice for review and signature, and then it gets filed with the family court. So the family court receives our petition and will schedule a hearing before a family court mediator, or they will elevate it to be heard before a family court commissioner. And if it goes before a mediator, a child support specialist from the child support program will be at the hearing. But if it doesn't get resolved at mediation, or there is a previous domestic violence issue, it then goes directly to a family court commissioner. But mediation, and there's some like astronomical number, a number of cases that are resolved at mediation. It's like, it was, last time I checked, it was like 94% of cases get resolved at mediation. So it's really a huge number, and that's just a testament to how well the court can, kind of move these cases through the process. That's why, when I'm always talking to a non-custodial parent, especially when we're trying to serve them, I'm always recommending get served sooner rather than later. Don't try to hide, because there's steps that have to take place before that first hearing can happen. And every month that goes by before that hearing, it can result in some retroactivity of the obligation. So if you're in court on, January 1st, and they create an order of $100, and it's, we filed the petition November of the previous year, you already have an obligation of $200 in arrears for the months of November and the months of December. So I'm always telling non-custodial parents, don't wait, get served, get to court, because you don't want to start in the hole some huge number, So always encouraging folks to do that. But a large majority of cases get resolved at mediation. That's a testament to the mediators and how they handle hearings. But, oftentimes those cases have to get elevated to a commissioner. So family court plays a huge role in the process. They do hear and hold hearings on petitions we filed with the court. They also resolve motions, not only petitions, but motions that come before the court. So they're a huge role, play a huge role in the child support process being established here in Delaware. The other thing that I'm kind of looking at the list of our state contacts. We already talked about family court. We already talked about the Department of Justice. Let's take it a step back a little bit, and how we get here in Delaware, how we at Child Support here in the state of Delaware get cases referred to us. And just to kind of talk about the first item first, anybody who wants child support, has a kid, has a couple of children, they want child support, they can fill out a child support application. Already talked about going to my.delaware.gov, sign up for the child support portal. You can fill out the application online, but you can also go to our website, Delaware Division of Child Support Services website, and you can get and print an application at home and fill it out and bring it to our office, and we will create a case on your behalf and bring the case into court. But we also get cases referred to us from agency number 1, the Division of Social Services. If a custodial parent, and that could be a grandmother, it could be a grandfather, it could be a guardian, it could be a mother, it could be a father. If they have the children and they go to the Division of Social Services and they get they get approved for TANF, which is Temporary Assistance to Needy Families, or Medicaid, child support gets an automatic referral from the Division of Social Services. And we will automatically create a case in our system to go forward to find the non-custodial parent and to go forward with collecting child support. So we get referrals from the Division of Social Services, not only for TANF but Medicaid. We also get referrals to us from the Department of Services for Children, Youth, and their Families. If a child has to go into foster care here in the state of Delaware, we will get a case referred to us from the Division of Foster Care Services. DFS. And we will treat that case the same way we would receive a case from the Division of Social Services, but the one difference is we go after both parents. The custodial parent is the Division of Family Services. So we go after biological mother and we go after biological father and create two cases for that child that's in foster care. So those are three ways that we receive an application for services and create a child support case. Application filled out by the custodial parent, a referral to us from the Division of Social Services, or a referral to us from the Division of Family Services for foster care. Those are three state agencies we have a lot of interaction with. Now, when we talk about locate, we have now just specifically, again, still sticking with the state of Delaware. We have a relationship with, let's see here, the Department of Labor. We have a relationship with the Division of Motor Vehicles. We have a relationship with the Division of Revenue, the Office of Vital Statistics. Let's see here. Office of Vital Statistics. Just looking at my list. And the Division of Professional Regulations. We are receiving and sending information to all of these agencies when we are trying to locate somebody for child support. And then in addition, and we can talk a little bit about this later, we also have these relationships for some of our enforcement activities. So, when we talk about, and I'm going to kind of run through some of these separately, when we talk about the Department of Labor, we're not only getting information when someone files for unemployment compensation, like this is where he used to work or she used to work, this is their last known address or an address that we have on file here at the Department of Labor, this is how much they earned at their last place of employment, or how much they're earning each quarter. We use all of that information not only to locate somebody, but to help us establish those court orders by either verifying what the non-custodial parent is saying and what the custodial parent is saying. In some cases, they say, I'm making X amount of dollars a year. We can look into the Department of Labor, especially if they're working here in Delaware. We can look to see, yeah, that's what they're making is close, annually. Or, no, they're making so much more, and this is what, we're showing based on Department of Labor records. So the Department of Labor plays a huge role. Lastly, I almost forgot to mention, the Department of Labor sends us payments when someone goes on unemployment automatically. So if somebody's on unemployment, we at Child Support don't have to send them a wage withholding. We automatically can make deductions to their unemployment check for child support. So that relationship is really strong, and it's not like we're like calling up Joe Smith at unemployment and asking him these information. Directly feeds into our child support system. So a child support specialist, an attorney over at family court who's handling a case for us, she or he can go in there and look up unemployment information or DOL information right there while they're standing before the family court commissioner. So huge stakeholder of ours is the Department of Labor. The Division of Motor Vehicles. This too is a system that we interact with that will provide us with locate information for a non-custodial parent. But is also one of those agencies that we interact with all the time when we're trying to suspend a license. So, obviously, they're the biggest issuer of licenses here in Delaware, and we are engaging with them all the time. When a non-custodial parent fails to meet their child support obligation. So, but they're also so valuable for us when we're trying to verify somebody's address or where they may live. So we use them for locate all the time. Same for the Division of Professional Regulations. And I think I forgot to mention DNREC. Both of those agencies, we share data, but we also interact as we do with suspending licenses. At Professional Regulations, if someone wants to be a barber or wants to do beauty salon work, that kind of thing, hair cutter. And they need a professional license to do that. We can deny their license until they start making regular payments. But we also use those agencies for locate. Yep. And then Division of Revenue, same thing. Someone wants a business license, they have to go to the Division of Revenue. But we also get state tax refunds for non-custodial parents who are in arrears. We get that from the Division of Revenue. They send us lump sum payments that we process through our child support system. And then the Office of Vital Statistics. They help us with the establishing of paternity for children born here in the state of Delaware. If paternity has not been established for a child, no court order can be created. So that's one of the very first things we do. After locating the non-custodial parent, seeing if we can get them to establish paternity, that's the next step in the process. And the Office of Vital Statistics is extremely helpful with us locating and establishing paternity for children in our state. Now, from the federal side of things, we have relationships and we share information with many federal offices, federal agencies. Similarly to the Division of Revenue for state refund intercepts, we also have a relationship with the Internal Revenue Service. And the Internal Revenue Service provides us with locate information. And it's valuable. Like if you're a non-custodial parent and you think you're getting a refund check, aren't you going to put your correct address on your tax filings? Well, we get that locate information. And then, of course, if a non-custodial parent owes child support arrears and is due to receive a lump sum refund from the IRS, we can intercept those payments and pay off child support arrears that they may owe. So it's, like I said, it's also a dual role, locate as well as enforcement. And then, we have the National Directory of New Hire, the Federal Parent Locate Service, the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement. We interact with these federal agencies to not only provide locate information to the federal government so that they can share it with other child support agencies around the country, but we receive information from those federal locator tools that will help us in Delaware find individuals who may be living in another state. And then lastly, from a federal perspective, the Department of State, we do use it for locate. They do provide us with locate information for non-custodial parents. But we also deny passports. So if somebody wants to get a passport, we can deny that passport. So we are interacting with a lot of agencies, both state and federal. And I see I have another question here, so this is great. Ms. Frederick asks, could a court-appointed guardian file for child support from the child's parents? Absolutely, 100% yes. And that's, one of the things that I always mention when I get questions like this, grandparents, guardians, man, those folks really do deserve all the help we can give them. And I really do try to stress that to my employees because, guardians and grandparents, in most cases, they didn't ask to have to take on this added or new responsibility to care for someone else's children. So we really do need to do everything we can to help them through the process. So, Ms. Frederick, the answer is yes. And you can go to our website. If you're not receiving temporary assistance to needy families or Medicaid through the Division of Social Services, you should fill out an application if you want to become a client of ours. But if you're receiving TANF or Medicaid, or you've applied and you don't know yet, once you're approved for TANF or Medicaid, the case would automatically be referred to us, and you don't need to fill out an application. You would hear back from us. But if you're not receiving those benefits from the Division of Social Services, go to our website to complete a child support application and get that application into us. And we need some supporting documentation like birth certificates if you have it, Social Security information if you have it. But definitely attach a copy of the court order, and that will get the ball rolling. But the answer to your question is absolutely yes, and we really do need to do our best here at Child Support to take care of grandparents and guardians. Okay, Ms. Buddle has a question. Let me open it up here. Okay, so this is rather long. I can see at the end there's some problems here. So I have followed every process that was told to me. I petitioned for support 3 years ago. It took that long to get a mediation date. My mediator dropped the ball and no one could find my paperwork from June. Then I went back in October and had issues getting that submitted before of the missing paperwork. I missed out on several months of support, and now continuously Dad lost a darn good job. Just a heads up to anyone listening to this, no one cares. You are just a number when you call to get info, no matter what the issue is. The operator confidently says they are not allowed to transfer calls and to give out emails. This is a joke. Okay, so there's a lot here. And I want to make sure a couple things are clear. One, the Division of Child Support Services and the Family Court, two separate and complete entities. I cannot speak for anything that occurred at Family Court as it relates to missing paperwork or delays with scheduling of hearings or mediation sessions. That is 100% Family Court related activity. Now, I can certainly and do want to address concerns that are raised in this message that deal with calling into our child support customer service unit. And I've already kind of mentioned this a couple times. One, if you call our customer service unit, their responsibility in the customer service unit is to do their best to answer any questions you have. They are child support specialists. Answer any questions that people have. Try and triage and resolve any logistical questions or issues that you may have with your child support case. Now, if it requires further follow-up from the assigned child support specialist, they do send an email to that child support specialist in order to take it to the next step. And that is to review the child support case, look at it and determine what next steps may be, as well as reaching out to you as the client if the client wants a follow-up phone call. They are required to reach back out to you. I'm looking for the question, it disappeared. So the child support specialists that are answering the telephone calls, they will send an email to the required and the responsible case worker to resolve the particular issue. You should get a call back from them, the assigned child support specialist, letting you know what steps they have taken. The other thing is, as it relates to the non-custodial parent losing his employment, that is problematic. I mean, can't sugarcoat that, you know. We certainly don't want to see non-custodial parents losing their good employment, especially if they've been employed in a place for a long time. I don't know by what I was reading, did it have to do with the family court hearing or something along those lines. But I can tell you this, if an employer separates somebody because they received an order of income withholding, that is against the law and they cannot do that. It's hard to prove in some cases, but we certainly would like to know that and don't want to see employers firing people because they've received an order of income withholding from the child support office. So the other thing too is, and I hope Ms. Bundle is still listening. The other thing too, and I've said this and I hate to repeat myself, but we're getting to the end, but I want to say it for your benefit. Please go to my.delaware.gov. my.delaware spelled out, DELAWARE, Delaware.gov. You got it. And then create a username and password, and then pull down the customer portal. If you pull down that customer portal app and create a new username and password, you can email your worker directly, bypassing the customer service unit. So I encourage you to do that, and then you also don't have to wait on hold, and you can reach out to your worker directly. my.delaware.gov, and then the Child Support Customer Portal. And I'm sorry that you've had difficulty. I'm okay to, and I will apologize if I see that things have been problematic here on our end. Yeah, and service of process is an issue. Making sure that people are served timely, and in some cases, I'm not saying this is in your case. In some cases, non-custodial parents try to avoid it. They try to avoid being served. So okay, so please go to my.delaware.gov. my.delaware.gov. I want to thank everyone. The time is up, and I have to go to another meeting that's starting at 12:30. So I want to thank everybody for coming to the February Child Support Connection. I will be back on March 9th. That's the second week of March, the second Monday, for the March Child Support Connection. Ms. Buttle, I see. We'll make sure you get a phone call. So thank everyone for joining, and have a great rest of your month. And we'll see you in March. Take care.